Hey guys, today we're going to read the story of Jesus and the 10 lepers. This is a true story of Jesus showing his power through one of his miracles. He's going to heal 10 men from being sick. Now, the sickness that these men have is called leprosy, and that's when you would get big, giant sores all over your body. And sometimes these sores would get so bad that it would cause fingers and hands and toes and legs and arms to fall off. These men weren't allowed to be near their family and friends because they didn't want to get them sick as well. It really reminded me of the coronavirus that we're all going through right now, where we don't want to be near each other because we don't want to get someone sick. And it's been hard to be away from you guys, and I know it's been hard for you not seeing your friends and coming to school and playing with each other, and it's been hard for Miss Geyer and Miss Trifoletti not seeing you and being able to spend time with you and teach you. And I think we are feeling a little bit of the same things that these men were feeling, where they weren't able to be with their family and they weren't able to see their friends. And that's the same as us right now. So I think God has this Bible story planned for us today to remind us that He's powerful, and that He's more powerful than a virus, and He's more powerful than this coronavirus. I think that He's going to use this to encourage us today. So let's find out what happens. Here we go. Jesus healed many sick people as He shared the good news about God's kingdom. There were 10 men who had a sickness called leprosy. They had painful sores all over their bodies that would not go away. They didn't have to stay in bed, but they were still very sick and sad. People who were well didn't want to get this sickness, so the men had to leave their homes and their families, and day after day they stood outside of the city. They were very lonely. Other people didn't even want to come near the place where they stayed because they didn't want to get sick. But then one day they heard that Jesus was coming to town. Maybe Jesus will help us. He'll be walking by any time now. They stood far away and watched, and soon they saw Him. And the men began to shout, "Jesus, Jesus, please help us."
He stopped to hear them and acknowledge their pain. Then Jesus said the most peculiar thing. Jesus commanded them, "Go and show yourselves to the priest." It was an odd thing to say.
"Show the priest that you are well," Jesus said to the men. The priest was one of the leaders of the people, and when someone got well after being very sick like this, the priest had to look at the person to check to make sure that they were actually well. The men believed Jesus and started running down the road, and as they hurried off, they looked down at their hands. They looked down at their feet and at their legs, and they saw
the body of each man was transformed from a hopelessly disfigured leper to a picture of perfect health. Arms and legs grew back where they had once been missing. Scaly skin took on a smooth and youthful appearance where it was once filled with sores and scars. And where there had been blindness, complete vision was now restored. "We are healed!" Their voices rang in youthful joy at what had just happened to them. They continued toward the temple without even glancing back to acknowledge their healer.
But then suddenly one of the men stopped running, and he remembered something very important. He turned back around and ran back to Jesus. And when the man saw Jesus, he knelt down in front of him and said in a loud voice, "Oh, Jesus, thank you. Thank you for making me well." Jesus looked at the man and He said, "I healed 10 men. Where are the others?" Jesus asked. The other men were still hurrying towards the temple to show the priest. They were happy to be well, but they hadn't thanked Jesus for making them well. Only one man showed that he loved Jesus by returning and thanking Him for what he had done.
Then, with the same compassion, mercy, and love Jesus had spoken with when He healed the diseased men, He addressed the one grateful man, "Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well."
That's a good one. So I think one of the important things to take away from this story is remembering that, one, God is in control and he's all powerful. That means he has all the power. He has all the power to defeat this virus. He has all the power to keep us safe. So that's one good thing to remember. God is powerful. He's always powerful. He always wins. And I think the second important thing is reminding ourselves to be thankful for what we have, for what God has given us, and remembering not just to be thankful, but to thank God for the things that he gives us. To thank him for being powerful, to thank him for having control over this virus, to thank him for keeping us and our families and our friends safe. Your Bible verse is coming up, and it is about giving praise to God and thanking him for what he has done. So we will jump into that as well. Here it comes. All right, my friends, here is your Bible verse for this week. It is from the book of Psalms, chapter 100, verse 4. We are going to say Psalms 100, verse 4. Enter his courts with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Psalms 100, verse 4. A little faster. Ready? Psalms 100, verse 4. Enter his courts with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Psalms 100, verse 4.